Take take care of you. I wrote you on and on. You never gave me an answer. Am I the only one? I didn't know it was over. Take care of you. Take care of you. Take care of you.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing fantastic on this Friday evening or Saturday morning, depending where you are in the world. It's so wonderful to be here today to talk to you guys about a very interesting topic we had just discussed in our community. I think it was between Toby and Christian when we had our co-working session just a few days ago, and I was explaining the idea of finding a good mentor to learn from and be inspired by as you go through your day and try to traverse through your growth journey. Everybody has different role models that they want to learn from, and the unfortunate thing is we're not always able to access our role models physically during this time. We're all in a precarious state. Lockdown is happening around the world, and also maybe the people that we want to learn from are a bit too out of reach for us to directly have a conversation with. For example, if we really admire, Elon Musk, or we really admire even, for example, people have passed away already, Albert Einstein, it's very difficult for us to find out how we can exactly emulate their lives because they're not there with us to train us and to teach us what they know. So I had this really cool idea about, and this was discussed with many of my friends too, so it was a very collaborative effort for sure. How can we spend most of our time while we're pondering and thinking about what to do next, and how can we do things the best way? How can we have someone, right, that is our role model, that's someone that we respect and think have good qualities and traits that would be able to best deal with the situation at the current moment? How can we get them to give us their well-intentioned advice at the right time? And the idea just came out of nowhere, right? It was like there's so much content out there already if you want to learn from the greats. Anybody who's in the top 5% of anything that you want to learn from most likely has some kind of content online, whether it be an interview with them, whether it be, their own YouTube channel. Sometimes, Tim Ferriss has his own YouTube channel, right? If you want to learn from him. Sometimes they have video clips of them just speaking at certain events. Like, there is so much content that you can learn from in terms of different people out there that have skill sets and expertise and just mental models that you can just learn from and appreciate so much, that I think it'll be so worthwhile to have a Notion database that can actually show you the people that you want to emulate, all laid out ahead of you every time you're trying to plan out your day or trying to get through a difficult problem, and be easily able to find the right resource that when they're speaking, you can emulate and have them listen in the background and essentially have your own little virtual mentorship live. So if this sounds cool to you, let me know in the chat. Let me know if you have a certain role model that you want me to build out today. I'm going to be building this as a collaborative database that everybody in the Code3 family can tap in and also enjoy. And I really hope that you guys can tell me who exactly you want me to put inside this database, because it's going to be really fun. I want to learn all about your role models, who you want to emulate, who you want to live up to. And this is actually a very Stoic philosophy as well. I think I was listening to a podcast while they're discussing the meditations of Marcus Aurelius, and they're sharing is like, if you want to be the best in anything, you need to find out who's the best currently and live life like them. And let's talk a bit more about that as we break down exactly the why, what's, and hows of today's live stream. But I'm so excited. Thank you guys for joining, and let's continue chatting. So I flipped over my screen. I'm now sharing my page where I'm explaining the why, what's, and hows. And I'm definitely excited to talk about the breakdown between, why we're doing this, what do we really want to achieve, and how we're going to achieve it with this Notion database. So why do we want to build this out in the first place? Well, we want to learn from the best mentors in the world, the people that are the top 5% of whatever of any domain that we want to excel in. And when I use the word domain actually means things like, let's say coding, right? The best person in coding. Business is also a domain, the best people that are doing business. Even piano per se, right? If you really enjoy some fine arts or you enjoy the musical arts, maybe you have a role model that you want to emulate that plays piano in a very beautiful fashion that you enjoy. It's all about finding the right person that's going to be your role model that you can emulate and essentially be inspired by as you follow along in their footsteps throughout the day. So we want to learn from the best, and then what is going to help us learn from the best? Well, if my imagination is that we can have a database that is easily accessible, right? Which showcases multiple profiles and personalities that we want to learn from. We would have various different things that we can learn from them, right? Everybody has their own areas of competence. And I'm not saying this in a way that says, hey, if you have someone that you admire, you should exactly live life 100% like them. I'm not saying that, because everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. We need to really be mindful about who we're going to emulate and how we're going to emulate them, because we want to be sure that, hey, what we're emulating is exactly their area of competence, and we're not accidentally putting the additional context or additional, let's say, their additional advice, because people usually just give a lot of advice around a lot of things, but if they're not exactly well positioned to give that advice, we need to be aware of that, and we also need to be very mindful. I'm being very careful in how we are going to approach this, but essentially having a database easily accessible showcases multiple profiles and the personalities we want to learn from, as well having a wealth of resources within this database of content that we can digest and learn alongside these individuals. So for example, we could have video interviews, right? Video or audio interviews. We can have documentaries, right? They might have documentaries that are explaining a walk in their life. We might also have things like speeches, right? If someone that you really admire, someone like Tony, let's say Tim Ferriss, right? You can definitely have them speak on stages, and you can have their speech playing in the background as you're going through your day. Essentially anything that will help you think like them and emulate their life more and more. Okay. So I do also want to say, like, what is the difference, right, between doing this and, let's say, just having someone in your mind's eye that says, hey, well, like, how about we say this? Why do we want a role model to begin with, right? Why is it so important to have a role model? Well, the first thing is, humans imitate, right? Imitation is the best form of flattery. Everybody has heard this before. But the best way that we can get to be an expert in any field that we want to be in is really by finding out who's good in that space, and then how do they get there? What was their life journey? What have they been doing all this time? What are they doing right now? But basically having all this information that will help you form a context around this person and hopefully lead you and gear you towards being successful as they are in their domain. Now, the thing I want to say here is it's very easy to have an inflated sense of understanding of these people as you digest only one dimension of them, right? The dimension that they're putting online. So it's really important to note that while you're building these personas together, these are probably the most ideal personas of this person. And this is very important. You have to really listen carefully to what I'm saying here. Is that when you are building out something like this, where you have, and I'm imagining like 10 upon 20 upon 50 videos that are going to be about this one person and what they're speaking on, whether it be about productivity, about motivation, about music, about anything you want, you're really seeing the best parts of them. So what you're ending up putting inside your mind is going to be a perfect ideal what you're chasing towards, which is good if you want to have a construct that is going to help you solve problems. When you have an ideal in your mind that's going to be there, say, hey, if I deal with a difficult situation in this field, what would he or she do? And you use their mental model to solve the problem. It is perfectly amazing, because you can use and leverage their skill sets or your perceived understanding of their skill set to have the confidence to solve the problem at hand. Now, if you're instead trying to put yourself in a position where, hey, I have to be exactly like them and be the level of perfection that it seems like they have currently, that's where I'll say be very, very careful. Don't do that. I don't want you to be in a position where you're going to essentially shoot yourself in the foot, right? Because you put a perfect ideal out there that maybe even the person themselves cannot appreciate and cannot achieve. And you don't want that to be your own expectations and responsibilities to live up to that. It's good to set something high up so you can chase towards it, but don't feel dejected when you can't reach it immediately or can't reach it at all. It's all about having these mental models and this conceptualized sense of this person, which you can put yourself in their shoes in certain moments of your life to find the right motivation and to find the right problem solving. I hope that makes sense. Please do let me know in the chat if this doesn't make perfect sense to you, and I'm happy to explain this again, but that's the fundamental basis I want to get across in this video today, first of all. Okay, so how is going to be very important. Okay, so how is, let's build a collaborative database where we have multiple properties that help us find and filter out different role models we may want to learn from on a day-by-day basis. Okay, so very important. And then what we're going to want to see is we want to ask ourselves good questions. We want to ask ourselves good questions. So for example, who is someone alive or dead that you really respect, look up to, and want to become like? And this is a question I'd like everybody in the chat to answer as well. Really, who is someone alive or dead that you really respect, look up to, and want to become like? I'm seeing great comments in the chat already, and saying, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, amazing, right? And other people say like, oh, their own personal doctors, right? Their own personal doctors that they have in their lives. I think that's perfect as well, right? Please let me know who you want to emulate, because as the more examples we can put in here, the better. Okay, so that's a good question to start. Another question is, who, if looking over your shoulder, would make you your best possible self? So we're talking about, if you had someone that you really respect and admire, and they were looking right behind your shoulder and they're very interested in seeing your success, what would you make sure that, like, who would it be that would help you be your best possible self? Like there's so many versions of you could be, but who's gonna make you get out of bed, sit down at the computer, get outside, do the work that you want? And again, fitness can be a huge thing here. Who is your fitness role model, right? Who do you think you can emulate that's gonna make you get out of the house, go do the exercise, do that run, do that stretch, whatever you might want to do. I love Travis. Travis with Ray Dalio. I think that's going to be from an investment angle. So that's really perfect. We have many, many angles here already. I think that's super awesome. Okay. So another question, again, just to stimulate your mind again, right? Whoever it is, think of how they would conduct themselves today or how they would spend their time if they were in your shoes. Again, very important. If they were right here in front of you, what do you think they would choose to spend their time on, right? When you are confronted with a decision, ask yourself, what would they choose to do? Think about how they would react to situations. So this is actually a kind of meditation, and this is really interesting. I'm gonna spend like maybe 15 seconds to explain this to you guys. When you do meditation, you're essentially putting yourself and conceptualizing another self of you that is able to label your emotions, that's able to look things in the bigger picture and not get too stuck in the nitty gritty, to see yourself as a tiny speck in the whole world. I'm sure if you've done meditation before, you know that there's a lot of different exercises within the meditation practice, but all of it is about pulling yourself away from the situation and observing it from a different vantage point. This is almost exactly what we're doing here, except the vantage point also has a certain coloring to it, and it's the color of the role model that you want to emulate. And again, this is so important because when you emulate these people, you are essentially putting in their mental models into your thinking and incorporating what you think they would do, and essentially leveraging that strength that they have and the confidence they have, and to help you live out your day. Another example of this is also religion. If you're a religious person, you might want to put Christ in there, right? Christ is someone that you may want to emulate, right? And Christ being, whatever you're imagining them to be, whether it be through the Bible definition or just your own personal belief that they are almighty and omnipotent, that's great, that's fine. At least you have a mental model to borrow, someone that's loving, that someone that's kind, someone that cares for others, right? So really, that's all really what I want to talk about. Okay, so we have some examples already. I love it already. Travis has some really great examples. Let's start building this out. I'm going to go to our L control system as we do. So we're going to build this in. Starting next month, this will be included in your system as well. But if you want to build along, please build along with me. I think it'll be a really fun experience. I'm actually also just going to send the editable link in the chat, so everybody here in the chat right now can edit with us. I think that's super fun. So let's do that today. Let's make a editable page for everyone to work together on. How about that? Okay, so I'm gonna go to backend and views, and I'm gonna make this a new system. This is going to be an auxiliary system, so it's a tracker database. It's about being intentional. So we'll make a new one. Let's call this our, people we admire. Okay, and let's make this a database. So it's D. I'm gonna click open this. I'm gonna make this a database, and let's go ahead and start writing in here. Super excited, guys. Okay, so the database we're going to try to make in question is going to be a page. Let's just make a page first. And let's call this people we admire. Okay, let's make this a table. And let's put some early options in first. So let's say we have people like Elon Musk, we have Tim Ferriss, we have Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? Amazing. We also have Ray Dalio. We have Eric Thomas. Who else? Lisa Su. Okay, so we have a few examples, and for now I'm going to use examples that maybe more people would know, but of course when you guys start working on this in our collaborative space, 100% make it your own. Put anybody you want in there, because we want to also learn from who are your role models and what can we learn from each other. So I think that's super awesome. Okay, so I'm thinking about this. Let's also let's do this. Okay, so you have two options, guys. You can either build a table of your own, so you can put it inside your system, or you can follow along and build together with me for the master table that we have. So the idea is that in the future, you'll have your personal table, of course, which has the own people that you admire personally, or you can choose to link up with the main table that we have in the community and use that as your master. So it's completely up to you. You can either have your own separate table, which you update yourself, or you can borrow from what everyone else is updating for the master. Okay, so really cool about that. I'm going to quickly just give everybody edit access. This is an experiment. I'm not sure if this is actually going to work, if this is the perfect way to do it, but let me just share and give you guys the link here. So if you guys use this link, you will be able to edit the page I am working on in the chat. Let's see if it works. Let's see if this is going to be a fun experiment. Okay, guys? Okay, sure, perfect. So let's build out together the properties that we're going to need, okay? What we definitely need is what domain expert they are in, okay? This is really important. So I'd say Elon Musk is a domain expert in startups. He's really good at building startups. Tim Ferriss, I'd say, is an expert in time management. I'd say, you know, for example, Ray Dalio. Oops, I misspelled Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio is an expert in investments. We can even have people like Charles Munger if we want to, right? Just to have some more diversity. Charles Munger. And we can do things like this one is also investments. For Chris, what would we say Lisa Sue's what would be Lisa Sue's domain of expertise? And also for Travis, please also share what you think Eric Thomas' domain expertise would be. And I think for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, there's a lot. Let's see. I'm just trying to think. I think it's about perseverance. I'm not sure. You guys can let me know what will be the best answer for that. But anyway, the idea is that we want to keep asking ourselves the question, right? So I'm going to copy and paste that question. These two are the questions that we want to think about as we enter in this database. Oops, so we want to put it right here. So question, and we want to put questions. So these will be the good questions that we're going to ask as we continuously make this page bigger and bigger. Let's also make a gallery view so we can have like little pictures that can showcase each one of them. And let's put some properties open. So we have the domain expert in here. Okay. So we're going to have different things. Let's say, for example, let's start putting in some pictures. So maybe Elon Musk has a picture here. I'm going to add a picture property profile. And actually, I'm going to put it in the cover image. So when you add something to the cover image, actually you can set it so that it becomes a thumbnail. So what you can do here is you change your cover, you do upload, and you can upload any image you want. I just happen to have an image of Elon, so I'm going to put it right here. And then I'm also going to do one for Tim Ferriss. I have one because of the thumbnail I made, obviously. And but usually you can go online and find images of these people. Again, it's good to put a face to the name. It's good to have that in your mind's eye, right, as you're thinking about these people. You might also want to change the page cover so it shows the cover image for them. You can reposition so you can kind of see them better if you want. But basically the whole idea is that we want to eventually put this on a dashboard of sorts so that when you're feeling down or feeling demotivated, or even just starting out your day, maybe you want this everywhere, just having a list of mentors that you can choose to emulate every single day. I think that's a really good thing that you can have. And again, when we are emulating, we can be our best self and do the things that we want. Okay, Lisa Sue is in technology, let's say technology and management. Okay. And again, I will just reiterate for the new people joining us right now, the intention is not to idolize anybody, but the intention is to respect people for the domains that they are good at, and put yourself in a position where you are emulating their strength, emulating their confidence, and emulating their decision making as you go through difficult choices throughout your day, which everybody is going to face that. Okay. For now, I'm gonna just leave this list. If you guys come in and start putting in some stuff, that'll be perfectly fine. But for now, we're just adding in additional people that you think we should emulate. And let me just show you one example of how you might find someone online. So you go online, you say, hey, I want to find an image. Maybe I might want to find a transparent image, right? So it looks like everything else. I might use this image. Well, this one is cropped very, very badly. So maybe not that one. But I know there's like an animated version of him or something like that, like a cartoon version of him. Okay, if there's none, then we'll just do any color. We don't have to do one like that. Let's find like perhaps this image. So we're going to save this image. And then we're going to put the image in again as we upload it. So we're going to add a cover, and then we're going to change the cover and throw it in here. So upload this image. And by the way, guys, just let me know, is the link working for you guys? This link will only be working for this time being. After the stream, we'll turn off the link, of course. We don't want anybody just to edit it, but anybody inside the community will be able to edit it as part of our shared masters and trackers. So that's gonna be really fun. Okay, cool. So let me give an example, right? I'm going to open, for example, Elon up, because Elon is someone that I do respect a lot in how he builds startups and how he has his first principles thinking. So I'm going to put a few different resources in there that I personally want if I ever open it up and I say, hey, I want to live life in his shoes for the day. So I want to remember, okay? So these are the different questions that situations. These are different questions that we want to ask ourselves, right? As we are emulating this person. Well, then we obviously want them to be up front and center. So we put them, how would they conduct themselves today, right? Is one question that we can put. How would they spend their time if they were in your shoes? What do they choose? What is their problem solving process, right? How do they react to situations? So this is really interesting and important, and I want to make this really clear, is that you actually are trying to build a library of content that's going to specifically help you answer each one of these questions. And the intention is that we're not just watching any one of their videos, any one of their content, just to be in a position that you're going to go in and say, I want to learn something specific about them. I want to say, hey, if they find themselves in XYZ problem, what is their XYZ step to solve the problem? And I'm going to show you, for example, what videos I found from Elon that do like that, okay? So for example, I might just go to YouTube, right? YouTube.com. And then I might go and try to find, for example, let's say this is, I might try to find, for example, let's say Elon Musk, what would he work on? Okay, what would you work on? So what would Elon Musk work on if you were 22? Perfect. Sounds like the perfect video that we want to put in here. So I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to copy the link address, and then I'm going to go back to people we admire, right? And then we paste, how would they spend their time if they were in your shoes? I'm going to embed the video. I'm going to say, okay, so this video is directly telling me if Elon was 22, what would he work on? Great, I can watch that for the day, right? How would they conduct themselves today, right? Or what is their problem solving process? Well, I'm going to go Elon Musk, problem solving. Okay, let's say how he solves a problem. Another video that shows you how he solves a problem. And the really cool thing is that it'll walk through a particular example, right? Again, there's so much content out there already. So I think that's really cool, right? So another video can say, hey, what is their problem solving process? By the way, welcome back, Travis. Travis, we asked you, for example, what do you think, let me just double check. Yeah, Eric Thomas. I don't know who he is. I want to know who he is. So let me know what you think he specifically has a domain of expertise in. Okay. I'm also gonna put more people in here. Perhaps The Rock, right? So Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I think, is definitely a role model for many. I think Terry Jeffords. Let's see, Terry. Oh, Terry Crews, sorry. Terry Jeffords is his Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Terry Crews, yeah, I think he's definitely a great guy to learn from. But I'm just putting more and more examples. And by the way, Travis, if you missed it, there is a link in the chat that you can click, that you can edit and also work together. And everybody who's in here, if you click the link, you just need to press the edit button in the top right there. There's a little edit button, and then you can edit together with us. Okay, cool. So what is their problem solving process? We have a video here. How do they react to situations, right? So for example, I remember a really cool video. Actually, let's paste a few more videos in here first, right? So we have another one, problem solving process. We're going to paste it. So we're just really trying to find all the content that we can digest and learn from that are going to give us more information about this person. Again, this another one, life has to be more about solving problems. Maybe this is like existential, right? So that's pretty cool. Maybe we want that, right? Maybe we want to learn from that. Again, we put it into here. We say, he is a great problem solver, but it seems like there's something that he would do more than just solving problems. So we put that into this category instead, right? So that's a cool video. First principles reasoning, 100%. Okay, these two things are really big. So I would definitely put these two videos into here. So this is probably problem solving, asking why. It's problem solving, but actually let me double check. Yeah, so problem solving is asking why. And then I'm going to talk about first principles thinking, first principles. So this is really good. First principles thinking. This is a video that I would say is completely, and you can start like referencing them in terms of priority order, right? After you start watching a few of these videos, you're going to realize which ones are the best videos to watch that are going to help you level up in your understanding of how they think and how they react to situations. So one that I thought would be really cool is like the Tesla Cybertruck fail, right? When he was doing a presentation and he got embarrassed because his presentation went wrong. Well, let's watch how he did that, right? How did he navigate that situation of embarrassment? That's pretty cool, right? How does he conduct himself like that? And how can we conduct ourselves if we get embarrassed, right? So I think that's really cool. So we can really see examples of how these people that we want to emulate are able to recover from situations, solve problems ahead, and be able to go ahead and see what we can do and see exactly what we can essentially go ahead and learn from these different people. And as we go and learn from this process of our different role models and how we can essentially advance them as we keep on going. I think I'm really excited to see the RBG example from Anne. That's going to be really exciting. Again, I'm just really happy that I can share this experience with you guys and really share with you guys how I can learn from different people in my life and essentially level up myself as we go on in this growth journey. So really cool stuff. Let's add more things into here. So the examples here, like, so let's see if we have been able to successfully go and like try out every single thing here, right? So for example, we have figured out who is someone that we want to emulate, who is someone that's going to make us our best self. How would they spend their time if they're in our shoes? If we're confronted with a decision, what would they choose to do? And how would we react to situations? Already, these are really good examples of how we can be our best self and have these people be our emulated self, right? So let's think a bit more about how we can essentially start plugging this into every single different database that we have or every single different dashboard that we have, and also how we can filter, right? There might be different things where we want to say, hey, let's add one more property. This property might be about, watch him when we are feeling. So this is interesting, and this might link up, and I'm just thinking bigger, right? But this might actually link up with a database that we have called the self-affirmations, right? We have a database where we have all these self-affirmations, and it's really lovely, right? All of the people in the community are putting to say, hey, when these positions happen in the community, when these positions happen, and we want to essentially go ahead and make it so that when we go and find ourselves in a difficult situation, find ourselves in a downright depressing mood, right? We find ourselves that we're lonely, and then we find ourselves that we are, feeling bad about ourselves. What can we tell ourselves in a particular situation that's going to make us feel better, that make us learn from different people in the community that have gone through these situations and can learn from and can improve our lives? And I think that's really, really cool. So what if we are able to connect these two, right, and say, hey, when we are feeling a certain feeling, like we're demotivated about our business, when we're demotivated about our skill sets in learning language per se, right, or maybe it just in terms of exercise, when do we want to listen to these various people? And this is another property that we can put in. It says, we want to watch him when we want to be more put passion into our work. For example, watch when we want to put watch them when so that's an example that we can do, and essentially just keep narrowing down the things that we narrow down the people that we want to learn from at the right specific times. So I think that's really cool. Okay, so let's now talk about that database quickly. So I'm going to pull it up. It's called the self-affirmations database. I'm trying to think about the best way to get there. Let's go into our team Notion plan here. And then I'm going to go into our welcome to the family, right? And then we're going to go into our page here called, let's say, the self-affirmations database, right? And I'm just going to show you guys because you guys might not all know about it. But basically you have these sections where what are you feeling today, what situation you are in today. And what I'm thinking is that when you're feeling a certain way, you can essentially have not just the affirmation that's going to be telling you you can potentially feel better, how you can feel better about the situation, and stories from their family members, but you can also have a person that you can reference that really has gone through those situations, has a video out there that shows you exactly how they went through that situation, and essentially see how you can go ahead and learn from them and continuously grow and grow and grow with them. So this is where you can kind of link things up. I think that's really cool and definitely something that you guys can check out. Okay, I also want to show you guys an example of how you can make a view out of this. So we can see that this is the people we admire. Maybe we can say that we can put like a little emoji here. That's cute. Let's see what might work. I do like using like little emojis that are suited for like our theme of gamification, right? So let's think about like some really cool theme. Let's just see. I know you guys can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm going to just quickly put it. I think this guy would work. Or maybe this guy. He looks like he's wearing a hat. So people with many hats. Okay, perfect. So then now we have this thing right here where we can put the views of this specific database. So we're going to copy this link. We're going to paste this link here. And then we're going to create a linked database. And for this linked database, I'm going to want to make a gallery. It's a gallery view, and then I'm going to remove the table view now. And then here is where you can show like the properties. So I can show the card size maybe as small. For the card preview, we're showing the card cover, okay? And then we can see what exactly they're domain expert in, right? Again, it's a whole process of finding out who is the best in the specific field that you want to learn from. How did they go through different challenges in their life? Because everybody has different challenges and you can learn from different situations. And then how can you learn, how can you grow with them as, through their whole journey from like 0 to 1, right? Okay, very cool. And that's what you can do basically, right? And you can even filter out. So for your own specific examples, when you have this inside your own database, make sure you learn to filter because you might not want to see everything. Maybe you're not interested in, let's say, technology. Maybe you're not interested in civics, right? Maybe you're not interested in time management or even startups. Use filters to help you filter out the things that the domains that you're not interested in, especially if you're tapping into our wider page of our shared masters and trackers. Okay, so we're going to go into here. We're going to say domain expert contains blank. So I'm just going to keep that there so that we can easily have a filter when we want to filter it. And let's put it inside this thing called placeholder. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm just creating this view template, which can easily make a view template that generates a certain instance of, hey, people we admire. So let's see this. People we admire, we can put that there. And maybe we might also want to put the questions nearby, so it becomes really easy for us to add additional information. So let's put the questions here. So again, I'm just copying the questions over from our notes here, right? So who is someone alive or dead that we want to emulate and all those things. And we can put it right here. And I think what I can do here is make it more like a quote. Okay, so let's do this. Let's make a quote here, and we can say, who is someone that we relive, and who, if looking over your shoulder, make your best personal self, emulate and grow together with your role models. So essentially that's what we can do there. And then we can open up each page after we duplicate it on whatever page we want. So for example, I'm actually giving you an example right now is I'm going to put this on my database, on my dashboard. So I'm going to click these 6 dots right here. And then I'm going to copy with Control C, Command C. And then I'm going to go into my system and I'm going to go to my Make Life Simple page. So this is again my dashboard where I manage everything I do in my life. Oh, and something cool that I want to show you guys that maybe not everybody has seen before is I like to add like a little thing at the top of my Make Life Simple that just really helps me think about my day and think about what I can do better for the day. So for example, things to be more stoic, so because when bad things happen or when good things happen, just be indifferent, right? Don't get too overexcited and get too underexcited or get too depressed because life is short. This too shall pass, right? So I think these are really good messages. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into a specific section here. Let's expand this actually. I like this section a lot. How do these quests make me happy? Because I think every day you should just be chasing for happiness. There's so many things that could make you unhappy. There's no reason for you to be unhappy because of those certain things. Okay, so these are different things that you could do. Now let's put in the section where who can we emulate today? I think that's a really cool thing to ask. So let's make a toggle and we say, who can we emulate today? So we can expand this out. We can put this toggle into there. We can paste that in. And then when we paste that in, we can see a template block that is generated that we can immediately click on that. And then instantly we can have this little blurb here that will help us essentially put this into perspective. So that's perfect. And once we press that plus button, we can delete that view and then we can have this just like this. And of course, this database will keep populating as we get more and more people contributing to this database, which I think is really fun. Another thing you guys can do, just formatting wise, you can make this into, you can change the color for this, and you can add like, for example, purple, you can add, orange, add yellow, really up to you. But basically the whole idea is that you really want to just make it engaging for you so that you'll click on it, and then hopefully maybe I'll put a brain there or something. Oh, I used a brain already. Maybe we can put like something like a conversation or something like that. Mind blown maybe. So these are things that you can do so you can emulate these people in your lives today. So that's really cool. Do you guys have any questions so far about this database? It's actually a relatively simple database, but I wanted to just show you guys like how you could potentially make a database like this and make it just really collaborative and really fun for everyone to work off. That's the whole idea, right? That's why we're building these systems together with you guys in the Coistery family. It's because we want to share from each other's knowledge and just level up together every single day. We want to be involved in each other's growth journey, and most importantly, we want to make sure that when we do level up, we're doing it with intention and we're learning from the best. So I think that's really cool. I might even just delete this part so that it stays on one line. I think that's pretty cool. Don't forget to drink water, guys. Drink water is important. You definitely need to drink water, so don't forget that. I see Chris that's doing the Lisa Sue example. I love it. I love it. I'm going to start actually, let's rename this specific database to the collaborative one. So this is the collaborative database, collaborative. And what we can do actually is I'm also going to just move this whole database over to, let's move this over to our welcome to the family. We have shared repositories, right? This is where I'm going to put it. Again, we have a few already. We have like recipes box, self affirmations. We have a book club, guided meditations, a watch list, just a lot of really cool stuff in here. And then what we can do is now we can put this example. We can say, hey, I want to put a COEX3 role model. Okay, and then I was creator for this, but obviously you guys are all co-creators of this as well. This is a tracker, and then we can have an inline page here, right? That's going to be, let's see, I'm going to put this as the master, so I'm gonna have to move this. Okay, you guys are gonna lose access for just a quick second, okay? I'm going to have to move this. Yeah, I'm gonna move this. So let's move this over to COEX3. You're gonna lose access for just a quick second. I'm going to copy that into here. And now you guys should all have access again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make this inline. So turn it into inline. And I'm going to copy a link here. I'm going to put this back in the master database and create a linked mention page. So this is going to be the people we admire, the collaborative version. And I'm also going to give everyone a version that is their personal version. So let's duplicate this. Oop, that didn't work. I'm going to delete that now. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. So I'm going to copy. Let's see. I'm going to make this into a smaller page cover. So small. And then I'm going to duplicate it for a second. And then why I'm doing this is because I want to make sure there's a version for everyone for themselves to also use, which I think is really important. So you can paste it here. And then now this has an original version, and I'm going to clear out the data so that you have one that is also for yourself to use that doesn't need to have anyone else's people on. This is only the people that you care about. So people I admire. Perfect. Oh, I love that. So people we admire is collaborative. People I admire is personal. I love that. That was great. Whoever did that change, that was perfect. People we admire. I think that's there. And then here is, oh, actually, I think I was there already from the beginning. Oh, well. Okay, people I admire is here. Okay, and then we're going to just clear out everything. So let's clear this out like this. And then we're going to change to the views and just make sure that we have them all. So that's perfect like that. And then I might just make a tutorial section for this, right? So I can teach everybody how they can use this database properly, which again, I think super important. Everybody should try to incorporate this after they finish the whole life control component of the system, after they've been able to track everything and take control of things that they want to control in their lives. Then how can they add on more value by adding on this additional component? So I'm going to go actually into the L control master then like this. And then I'm going to go in and make the build your own system. And then I'm going to put a new option here. So this is, there's so many management items already. And then we can have here, we can say, this one is a new tutorial. And this tutorial perhaps could mean, let's see, this tutorial can be about mentorship management. I think this is mentorship because everyone has virtual mentors. I think that's the really cool thing. It's a virtual mentorship, right? So the tag here is that this is part of the be intentional, and this is going to be optional, of course, right? And let's put in some instructions here. So let's say that, again, I'm just going to take a lot of the wordings we already have. This will be the title. We want to learn from the best mentors in the world. So let's put that here. And then our first step would be, let's say our first step here would be, let's go ahead and our first step is let's take these questions. Okay, ask yourself the following questions. Put them in the list below, table below, and use the template to create meaningful prompts. So we have to create a template as well. So before we forget, we need to make a template. I'm going to do it based on this one right here. So I'm going to do this people we admire, new template, new person. Okay, we're going to paste this into here. And then we're going to add a cover. We're going to add a cover like this. And then it can just be a random cover for now. And for example, I'm just going to change the cover to something more basic. So maybe yellow. And then I'm going to delete everything in here because we want to start from scratch for this template block. And we can delete this, and then we can delete the problem solving process. We can delete this, we can delete this, we can delete this. And then how did they react to situations? Not react to situations. So that's right here. We can untoggle that. So perfect, we have that. And I'm also gonna double check on this react to situations. So make sure that we don't have a mistake there. And then for people that have like different things inside there, you can see there's this ugly little page icon. How you can fix that is when you go to the template, you can actually add an icon here. And this icon can actually have something like, you can put a smiley face or whatever you want, but basically that would then replace the icon that's automatically generated if you have content inside of your page. So I think that's really cool. That's a really interesting tip for you if you are new to Notion. Okay. So I'm going to finish up the build your own system tutorial here. And again, drink some water because you got to hydrate yourself. And then you can put it stuff like this. Okay. So use the template new person or new role model to create meaningful prompts. Fill out the page with a cover image of the role model, the domain, the domains of expertise. I think I said it was something different. Domain expert. Okay, the domain expert. What they are a domain expert in. And then also, and when you should listen to them. Then use the toggles in the page to paste audio visual content that will help you learn together with this individual. Okay? To generate prompts. Okay, so now let's paste the database into here. And again, as I mentioned, we're going to make this into a linked view as well. So we're going to copy this linked view. And I'm going to say, not only do we have people we admire, but we're also going to have people I admire, right? So we being the community, I being myself, right? Whoever's using the system. So people we admire, this will be collaborative. Okay. I'm going to delete this section because I wanted to very much nicely wrap. And then we can have this close off here. And then instead of people we admire, like I said, we're going to have people I admire. And then we're going to change this into a gallery view. So gallery view is perfect. And then we're going to have this show all the different properties that we have for the other page as well. We can make this small, and then we can close this up. And then you have people I admire just like so. Okay, So that's really cool, right? You have people I admire, and I'm going to change that to I admire. And now what we can do is I can even copy this table, right? This linked view, and I can paste it here so that for the tutorial section, it's really easy for you to follow along. And then I'm going to have a bonus section here. So bonus, you can browse and add to our collaborative library, our repository of role models we admire within the community. And I think here we might also want to add a property for created by, so we can see who actually created by. So who actually started this person, like who is the one that entered this person into the database. I think that's something really cool, something to take notes of for sure. So this one for sure is like this. So we have this in the Cohesion role models already. Awesome. I'll add a cover in a second. But basically the whole idea is here is we can now have the people I admire here. We can have a tutorial section. We can see this bonus. So let's add to this. So all we have to do now is just grab the other view, like I mentioned. So I'm going to take this plus button, right? I'm going to paste this into here, this view, and then I'm going to press the plus button when it's done. So give it a second to load right here. Perfect. And then we're going to delete these two blocks after the database comes out. So let's wait for that for a second. Perfect. I'm going to delete that. And then we're here, we're done. Basically, that's the whole process. If you have any questions about this specific database, you felt like I went too fast in certain directions in certain places, let me know, right? I'm happy to recap certain things. But right now, what we're doing is we're just going to be filling out more people that we might want to emulate, also cleaning up this page here. So really, it's all about questions times. If you have any questions for me regarding this database, really happy to answer. And if you guys don't have access anymore right now, all you have to do is just make sure you find it within the Koi Street team workspace. And I think you guys will be able to get it. And you guys, of course, can join this once you join the community. So it's super, super easy. I think Anne was asking about what's the difference between I and we. Oh, I was just making it like interesting as like a funny difference where, you know, people we admire is we as in the community. So that's a collaborative page. And then people I admire is your personal page, which you will find inside your system. Simple as that. So let's say this. I'm going to use that as the thumbnail, perhaps, as the cover image. And then we can have it here. We can see this as walk a day in your shoes. Okay, we might also want to add an icon here. So let's say maybe someone walking. So let's use a pedestrian maybe. Perfect. So as you can see, we now already have a lot of good content in here, and you guys can start adding in and seeing how we can add more and more people. Ooh, what am I using to add icons while I'm typing? Okay, so if you are on a Windows computer, you can do Windows key and the period button at the same time, and that brings up a little pop-up that helps you choose from a list of different what do you say, a list of different icons. I'm not sure we can do for Mac, but I think you use icons for sure. Description of person is really good, but Krissa, how do you think we can do that without going too deep into a biography? Maybe we have a biography section. I do agree with that. Maybe we have a biography section. So we go into here and we make like a biography section. That's a really good input, actually, Krissa. I like this a lot. Maybe we can do a link. So we'll do like a button style link. So a call out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put it on the side here. Biography. And then we're going to put this in here. So maybe we can put details. Oh, we actually want to put stuff like, oh, I already know what we need to put. Okay, let's put stuff like date of birth. date of death, right? So maybe they're not alive right now. So we have date of birth, the date of death. That might be interesting. So DOB, DOD, DOD. And then we can have a link. So this is probably going to be the link section. There might be many links actually, so we're not sure, right? This could be like their biography. This could be their website, right? Website. So like you can have multiple links in here. So that's why I'm doing it like this. Just like that. Maybe something about how they relate to one another. Okay. What do you mean by that? Like how different role models of yours can relate to each other. I think that is interesting. But maybe I can get a more clear understanding from you, Anne. And also, Chris, like, try to keep to XY sentences. What does that mean? Okay, I'm also gonna just make this look a bit prettier. Maybe this will be gray background. Looks kind of like that. So then we can have like a section here. We can then have like video content at the bottom, video content, or audio visual content. This could be a nice little block with a gray background right here. Look, if they're cross paths, mentor to mentor. That's quite interesting. I haven't thought about that. Okay, there could be value in that. There could be value in that. Actually, I want to put something like opportunities as well, because actually a lot of these people have like email addresses that you can reach out to, and you can email. Like Warren Buffett, you can email him and he'll answer your email for sure. Oh, okay, I get it. So for biography, keep this short and simple. Stick to defining moments. Okay, I think it's defining life-defining moments. I think that's really good. I think, for example, like their email as well. So like basically this ends up becoming a place where we can source for different people's emails. I think that could be pretty interesting. Yeah, it's not bad essentially. For opportunities as well, I'm not sure where to put that, but definitely opportunities. Opportunities they offer or direct mentorship. So we can start collecting like different ideas about like how can they be reached out to. Do they have like a official mentorship program or something like that if we really want to learn more from them, right? I think that's really cool. Yep, these are really good ideas, guys. I really love it. Okay, so this already is pretty good. Okay, so date of birth, date of death, watch them when. So that's just something for you to fill out, I think, as you go on. Domain expert. Oh, so and saying that Warren Buffett shows up to court with RGB. I want to know how they learn from one another. That's interesting. I don't know. Like, I'm not exactly sure how to relate those, just in my mind, even. Like, I'm just thinking, like, when I'm trying to learn from someone, I guess I do want to know their growth journey, but whether or not they interact with another person on the admiration list. Okay, I see what you mean. Maybe you're saying stuff like, I get what you're saying. I really do. I get what you're saying. I'm trying to see how it can link, because we want to have like, hey, if I like this person, I might also like this other person. I might also want to learn from this other person, and they cross paths somehow, and I want to see how they cross paths and what they learn from each other, right? It's really interesting. I think that one we can massage on a bit more. For now, Krisa's option also looks really cool, so I'm going to add that in terms of like what education they have, so we can see that. And then we're going to add one more thing here called education. Education. Right here. And then what we might want to do is, while you guys think of more ideas for this, I'm going to put in some explanations here so that we obviously have to get the right idea. So the idea here is not to create an over idolization of any particular individual. Oh, we should definitely have like a defining quote. I love that. Krissa, a defining quote is awesome. We need a defining quote. Defining quotes. I think this is really good. That's a really good one. Defining quotes. That's another one we can add in here. Perfect. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let me just finish this. It's not to create an overall individual. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. And the intention is that if there is a particular person we respect that has strengths in a domain or field that we want to be competent in, that's instead of field use area, that we want to be competent in, we can find the resources to help us emulate their lives and solve problems in a way that they would, in the fashion that they would. So I think this is really cool. This is a really big idea, right? That we've been talking about this whole time. And just for this, I'm also going to put that last thing. So I'm going to put this in there, and I want to put this in there. So let's go. Let's put these things. To fill out the below database, ask yourself the following questions. Perfect. So you have that. And then we have this, and then we have the second question. Okay, so I'm seeing a few more answers. Okay, let's see. It's about the great conversation. So if they have a conversation, I want to hear about it, or maybe a conversation between two or more mentors. And in that conversation, I would be there too. So you want basically an immersive experience too. I like that. So there could be content that basically says like, that you feel like you're part of the conversation, right? So you feel like you're in there, you're in that moment. Let's think about how that would be. I'm curious, actually. I'm not too sure the categorization for that, but we can just say like, for example, what content, how can I feel like they are in the same room as me? Okay, something like that, but like basically videos that would relate to that specific content and that specific idea. I think that could be pretty cool. You're right, that could be really cool. Okay, and then let's think about, for example, I do think relations is really good. I'm just trying to think about how to do it. But let's just add a relation for now, and then we'll figure out later, okay? So that's a relation. That's related to itself. So oh no, this is people we admire. Perfect. And then we're going to sync both ways. So we're going to say related to, and then we can have that sync both ways. So related by. I'm just thinking that's the best way. Maybe a one-way relation already works. I think a one-way relation already works. Sorry, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do a one-way relation. So related to. Yeah, I think this works. So I do relation. I relate to itself. People we admire. I'm going to use the same property, no syncing. So the example here is that if I use this database to make a table view inside here, and this is starting to get a bit more complex. This is cool. This is a bit more complex. I'm going to say, I'm going to put something here where it's going to say related to, and I'm going to do a div here, and I'm going to paste this, create a linked database. So what's going to be a bit interesting here is that I'm going to have a filter that says if related to contains this page and let's also show. So that's one way. And then I also want to show this page's relations too. Huh. Okay, this one's a bit difficult. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out to make this database. I think the only way we can do it is a two-sided actually. I tried to make it one-sided because I thought it would be less messy, but you have to make it two-sided. Okay, so related to. So let's make this a double relation. So Coix3 role models. Nope, role model. Oh wait, no, it's sorry, people we admire. What am I saying? We're gonna make this a two-way property again. So related to, and then you're gonna get a new one called related by, for example. So the whole reason now to build this thing here, it's going to only filter out the ones that are related to and related by. So I think that's really cool. So related to, related by, we're going to filter by those out. So we're going to say that this is a list view actually. And we're going to add on the domain experts. And then we're going to filter out by if the related by contains this page or let's see, or related to contains this page. So that's it. So that'll work, okay? So this will be linked back into each one. So let me give you an example of how that would work, okay? So for example, I'm actually going to redo Elon Musk's now, obviously, because we have new content. I'm going to do new person here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to paste that back in after we have the template. And you see that this actually overwrit the cover image. So that's a bit bad. We might change that later. But for now, let's put that in there. I love the ideas coming in the chat, guys. It's awesome. Really, really cool to see. Okay, let's let this load. It's gonna take a minute. There is a lot of information in that database. Let's see, this is fitness. This one is fitness as well. Okay, I think this one's loading already. Nope, it's still loading forever. We'll have to wait for it a bit. Let's see. Science. I think instead of philosophy of science, I'll just put science maybe for this one. And this is an example of someone that's already dead, which is awesome because now we can find all the content that is that is recorded during his time and all the different information that you can learn from for this specific moment. I think that's really cool. Okay, that just didn't paste. Let's see. I think it's because I changed the cover image halfway. Got it. Okay, I understand what happened. Okay, so I'm going to remove this table view because I don't need this one. And I'm going to paste this into here because we have this down here. So I'm just putting the content back in. And then what I can do is, like, for example, and just as an example, if this person was related to, I'm just going to choose a random person in this list. Again, they may not actually be related, but I'm just showing you an example. But if, let's say, Elon Musk was related to Tim Ferriss in some way, so let's say Tim Ferriss was related, then basically you'd see in the bottom here, we should see Tim Ferriss pop up here. Yeah, perfect. So you can see like their relation and you can dig into them and learn more about these specific people. I think that's really cool. Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. And let's now add a few more. I mean, like, Nicholas Tesla. Nicholas Tesla is a great person, science to learn from. We can do a new person here. And actually, I'm going to just edit the template a little bit as well, because I think the template could be improved. And I'm going to say this related to could be a toggle, actually. So we don't always need this open. And then we can do a div here. Or actually, no, let's do this way. So related to, and let's make it into a nice little side page right here. Right here. Perfect. And then we can make this like this. And that looks really slick. I like that a lot. And then we can delete the table view here. Perfect. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And again, as you can see in the chat now already, like everybody's able to learn from each other and see, like, for example, Anne and Krista have learned that they actually read the same books, which I think is freaking awesome, right? And you guys can basically find out what you're learning from each other and how you're learning from each other. We can update this list to be anybody and everybody. Again, I already love that I'm learning about people I don't even know yet, so we can learn more about those people. And I think that's just really, really, really cool. Any other things that we want to add, guys? Still fishing for more ideas. Okay, I'm going to also make this into a call out here. Do an idea bulb here, and then we're going to change this to yellow. And then we do not want to idolize any particular individual. Essentially, we are creating a mental model where we have a ideal we can emulate that can help us navigate the world for certain situations and circumstances. Perfect. So I think that's really cool. Awesome. Yeah, so if anybody wants to join us in building out this page, all you have to do is just join the Code3 family. We're a very friendly bunch. We do cool builds like this almost every single week on the weekends. It's a really fun passion project of ours. And basically we just build shared repositories like this, where now all of a sudden we're able to have a full list of people we admire and be able to share this with each one of us in the community, learn from each other, emulate their lives, really be the best person that we can be, because we know that we have this mental model or structure that we can essentially leverage on and live through and grow with. So I'm very excited about this, guys. For everyone else, you'll see this inside the next updates on the CoX3 family toolbox. It'll be part of the Be Intentional package as well as the L Control package. And also, if you guys aren't familiar yet, there's a really cool page here that I think you guys should definitely check out, where you can actually see all the updates that are coming out for our system as they come out live. So you can see, for example, we have a medical tracker coming up. We have easy to manage daily quests. We have a values exercise. Like, we have a lot of different stuff inside this updates list that you can see what's going to be released in the next major update. So definitely stay tuned. There's a lot of things that are coming up. Yeah, we just like to build cool builds. And if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe, and also let us know in the comments what role model you want to add in to the database. What role model have you already added to the database in this process? And definitely, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Please take care. It's Valentine's Day on Sunday, I believe. Spend some time with your loved ones. It's right now Lunar New Year in Singapore and Eastern Asian countries. So happy New Year to anybody who celebrates that. And yeah, I'm just so excited, guys. Thank you for being here with us, and I look forward to seeing you in the community. Please take care, okay? Bye, everybody.